Welcome back, and today this is take 2 of What If Deku Had Alchemy, part 1. And, let me tell you right now, guys, I'm doing a collab with Anime Camp. He's a good YouTuber, and basically, I'm probably gonna give him a shout out, I'm gonna give him a link. I'm gonna give you guys a link to his channel, probably on a community tab or in this video description, so you might want to watch out for that. If you're watching this video at this moment, then go to the description and check if I did it or not. But that out of the way, on to the intro. Okay, guys, so, before I get started, I'd like to say that, if you watch the first couple seconds of the video, you already know that I'm doing collab with Anime Camp, and I'm probably gonna get through, the backstory of Deku and Deku. And we're gonna get through the backstory of Deku and Deku, and probably gonna get to part of the USJ, and you'll see why. And anyways, basically, let's get started. So we're gonna say that Hisashi basically is a living philosopher's stone. And he gets he's a living philosopher's stone, just similar to the way Von Hohenheim got immortality. So he goes and he meets Inko. He meets Inko, and basically he meets Inko, and basically, we're gonna say that father, or, dwarf in the flask, basically, he causes a mutation in the human body, which basically causes quirks, which charges the phenomenon of quirks. And, I'm gonna say that because because Hisashi is, because they share the same blood, and he's a living philosopher's stone, the mutation does not affect Deku. So Inko basically, has a quirk and all that, but when Deku's born, he doesn't have a quirk because of Hisashi. So Deku is also born with a little brother, which is about a year younger than him. And a year younger than him. His name is gonna be Alexander, right? And yeah, basically, and Inko came up with a cute nickname for him, which is Al, for short. So, yeah, Hisashi then leaves, and Inko made the excuse of him traveling abroad in America for his job to the kids, so they don't blame Hisashi. So they don't really, hate Hisashi for leaving. So, she made an excuse, and Hisashi, then prepares for the promised day. Now, basically, now we go to, basically Inko dies from an illness, and the illness is not really, important, so, we're just gonna leave that illness blank. So she just died of an illness, and now, she died of an illness. So Deku wanted to bring her back to life. They only know a little bit of alchemy, so they find a teacher, they find a sensei, and they begin training. However, Alexander wasn't really aboard with the whole thing of trying to bring Inko back to life. However, because, he trusted his brother, so, he just went along with it. So, now they, get all the chemicals, everything that's needed in the human body, and then they draw the human transmutation circle, has Inko's ashes, and use their blood for a blueprint. They clap their hands and then put it on the human transmutation. As everything's glowing, they're wondering if it's working or not. However, that thought is soon thrown out of their mind as Deku sees like Al's body slowly disappearing, and basically, Deku's shocked, and he says, Al, what's happening, Al? Hold on, he says as he tries to reach for him, as he's basically stuck in the same location, and it's hard to move, and he doesn't know why until he looks down as he sees his left leg slowly disappearing, and Al's body is looking like this. Basically, Al's body is about to disappear as Deku tries to reach out for him. However, everything goes completely white as he's in a room which is white, and he sees a man or a figure which is white, a white figure, as Deku asks for the person's name. However, he replied with, I am called by many things. Truth, God, and so on and so forth. And Deku basically is piece stuff together and says, wait, you're God? And basically Truth interrupts Deku and basically says, you wanted to know, right? As basically hands start slowly to engulf Deku and pull him into the gate, and Deku doesn't know what's going on, so he's screaming for help, and the Truth says, this is what you wanted, right? Knowledge, and I'm giving it to you. As he says this, he's pulled into the gate as the gate just closes, as he's flowing into a room filled with memories, and he sees his father instead of some of them. He sees filled with memories, and he sees his father instead of some of them. He sees something in a flask. He sees everything. He sees the truth of quark. He sees all about alchemy. He sees everything. However, it's too much for the young boy, as Izuku Zuko says, "It's too much. I can't take all of this knowledge." As then the moment, you know, basically when it was all done, he appears right at this very place, like right at the very place he met the truth, the White Room, as he basically remembers some bits and pieces of basically, the truth, and you know yeah, the truth. And he knows a little bit about the homunculus, and he sees Sasashi, but he doesn't really know, as that part of his memories are kind of blank, as he couldn't take all of the knowledge, and as a result, some was just taken out of his memory. So now he thinks that human transmutation might be possible, and he has to at least try and he basically uh yeah he basically asks so basically he asks Truth if he could go there one more time. However, he basically declined, as he began to say, "I've showed you as much as I can for the toll you paid," as basically the Truth pointed at Deku's left leg, as it slowly began to disappear and to reappear on the figure's left leg, and Deku screaming as he suddenly went back into reality with his left leg that's gone, and he sees that Al is nowhere to be found, and he begins to kind of cry and ball up a little bit, knowing that, and not thinking that he lost somebody else again. First his mom, and now Al. But Dex snapped out of it. "No, I can't lose him. I can't. I won't." As he went to a near piece, a near armor, which has fallen off the, which has fallen off the thing, the stadium, or pole it was on, and he went and used his blood to bind Al to its armor, and he said, "You could take anything, you could take anything. Please just give me Al back. He's all I have left. You could take my heart. You could even take my whole life if you want to. Just bring him back, please." As he basically claps his hands and begins a transmutation without a transmutation circle, as lights begin to flutter in the air. Lights begin to flutter. It's blue, and then Al wakes up a couple minutes later to see Deku unconscious. He brings him to the nearest hospital in their town, which is the countryside, and they basically help Deku with his leg. They don't give him a prosthetic at this moment yet. They basically just help close up the wound properly, because Deku wasn't really he managed to close it for a while, but they properly sealed up the wound. So we're gonna say that the colonel, or a colonel, if like the government, which has state alchemists, is in this story still, which I forgot to mention, but so if you want the colonel to also be important and add other characters to OCs, you could just leave it down in the comments, or I could just put a community post later. But yeah, let me get back to the story. So the colonel was scouting the area, hearing rumors about two people or kids using alchemy, and alchemy is people using alchemy is really, it's not, there's some people using alchemy here and there, but not everybody uses it because they are quirks. So yeah, so hearing this, the colonel then heads off and scouts and hears that they're in a hospital. And he asks around and he hears that they're in a hospital. He rushes there and he uh basically asks what happened. And yeah, and Al would basically say, "We're sorry. We didn't mean to do it. We're sorry." And Colonel, the Colonel didn't know what he was talking about, but then he pieced it together. You didn't. As he then, grabbed Deku by his collar and said, "Why did you do that? You know that human transmutation, is forbidden. Why?" "We just wanted to bring our mother back to life," Al said in sorrow, as he then, falls to the ground and says, "Please forgive us." And then, yeah, we skip to, the Colonel basically, offers Deku and Al a chance to get their bodies back if they, a chance for them to get their bodies back if Deku and Al, become, state alchemists. Deku, which, his eyes were dull in the hospital, his eyes kind of lighted up a bit at the chance of Al finding, at the chance or, the mention of Al getting his, original body back. "Wait, you really mean it?" Deku, and Al asked excitedly, as the colonel replied with, "Yes, it's a possibility that with the resources you will get as a state alchemist, you'll probably be able to find your body. Get your bodies back." And but what the colonel said, Deku immediately said yes to the offer, and a couple of months, of Deku recuperating, and he went through muscle therapy in a couple of months. We're gonna say he went through muscle therapy in a month or so, and he managed to get an automail. It's flimsy, but it will do. And now begin the journey of Deku and Ao being state alchemists, discovering many new things, and they may even get their original bodies back.
Thank you, Hacker. Alright, if anyone doesn't know me who's from Hacker's channel, oh god, I did not make a good impression anyway, if anyone's from Hacker's channel, then, or the Hacking God, then you will not know me if you're not from my channel. Then I'll just say now that my name is Anime Camp, and we are doing a collab, as Hacker said. So, I'm going to leave off from, I'm going to take off from when Izuku and Al had become Full Metal Alchemists, had been training to become Full Metal Alchemists, and had. Most of the people that, the prominent characters that were there before, except people like Scar and stuff, are in the My Hero world. Most of them having quarks, but the few of them having alchemy. Anyway, so, if anyone wants any more cameos, just like how Hacker said, then please go and type it down in the comments. Or I will do a poll, like he said. Anyway. Let's just do this right now. Alright. So. This is just before the USJ attack. And it's after all the people in Class 1A had become, students. Apparently, they are, the heroes actually, are hiring a Full Metal Alchemist after the press were actually able to knock down their defenses. Nezu thinks that there was someone else involved, so he called, and he told the teachers this time. So they decided to call in backup. So a few more teachers, like I would say, they would offer some other heroes a job there, like some pretty big heroes. They would even offer, well, they were going to offer Endeavor, but they decided not to. Anyway, they actually decided to hire one of the rare full metal alchemists. As Deku had proven to be one or their best alchemist, as he does not need to use a transmutation circle. He is one of the best there, especially his knowledge of alchemy and all the rest of the knowledge. And I'm pretty sure I was still in his armor, but I'm not that sure. Anyway, him and Al are pretty much a team, so they both go together. This was the day when they're going to go to the USJ. They had already head off when Deku had already arrived. Eraserhead did say to the kids that there was going to be a full metal alchemist coming for protection. They asked why, but Eraserhead just says that Nezu wanted one for some reason, not telling them about how he thinks there was someone else involved in the press attack, not wanting to scare them or anything. So, the USJ attack usually would go the same, except Deku's not there to help them. Deku and Al are actually talking to Principal Nezu and the deflated All Might, who was in the principal's lounge at the same time. Deku does not have that same shortness as Al. He is perfectly normal sized. So yeah. But he does have that badass red jacket. His automail's not the best, like Haka said, but you know, do as do. But Nezu does say that Power Loader has been using some high class automail, so so he offered to give him one. Deku went right on this and says, yes, please. And Al says, that's great, brother. And then they both do high five. They're wondering how are these kids some of the best alchemists out there. Sorry about that again. Anyway, when Ida finally caught up to the where All Might was going to the USJ now, All Might told the teachers, and I'm gonna say Deku was actually with All Might at the time. Deku not being All Might fanboy, but still being there just because he wanted to go see the people that he's supposed to be protecting. Anyway, him and Al were just walking with All Might as Ida found All Might and them just walking. Ida sighed of relief and ran right over to All Might, telling him what's going on at the USJ. And then he looks over at the other two and says, I'm sorry, who are you? Are you new students? And Deku just says, no, we're the Full Metal, we're the extra protection, knowing that he doesn't know what Full Metal Alchemist is. They may be quite a formidable foe, but still, heroes have completely taken their name over the years. So he probably has no clue what a Full Metal Alchemist really is. Then he sighed, and then said, wait a second, did you say villain? Then All Might, him, and Alphon and Al run right to it, and Ida saying, no way, you're extra protection, you're the same age as us. And then he says, yeah, well, I'm still it, as he kind of has the short temper that, I always forget his name. Anyway, he still has that short temper. When they get to the USJ, and get in, they see Eraserhead being pulled into the ground by the Nomu. and All Might just going down and beating up all the villains. Deku then running over to the water zone, seeing that there was 2 students trapped on the boat, shouting to Ao to come with him. Then Deku clapping his hands together, then shifting the earth beneath him before he got into the water. This making a massive pathway to the boat. Mineta instantly just dropping down there, thinking that it will be safe now. Deku then putting walls up between the road and the water. This is so villains can't attack. Sue, now convinced that it's safe, jumps down and starts the run too. Then asking who he is, and he says that he's just some extra protection. Then All Might is now in the battle with Nomu, ultimately losing, until Todoroki and all those still jump in. Deku does jump down though, and then run to them. Ao making a transmutation circle, and then creating a sword. Deku then creates a sword out of his, I'm pretty sure it's arm, and runs right to it. It may not be as good as the one in canon of the Full Metal Alchemist, but it's still good enough. Well, good enough for now, at least. He jumps right at the Nomu, slashing its back. The Nomu, not even flinched by this, just regenerating it. Deku then says that will be an issue, clapping his hands together, then making walls around the Nomu. Nomu just punching all the walls down. Deku says, well, I can keep on doing this forever. Let's see if you can too. Then just clapping his hands again and hitting them on the ground. All Might quickly just uniting plus altering the Nomu right into the ground through the wall, surprising the Nomu, and then the Nomu does get back up, kind of pretty phased by the attack though. Then Deku, Ao just comes right in, hitting the Nomu in the side with a spear. Deku doing the same, just with a sword. People wondering who they are, and that they that they fight like experts. Then just jumping back after unsheathing their taking out their weapons from the Nomu's side. The Nomu just looks at them now and starts to run at them. Todoroki does make ice, and Deku says, "Oh, that's good," and then just uses his transmutation to use on the ice. Walls of ice come out of this ice. I'm gonna say pillars of ice come out of this ice wall and hurt the Nomu quite a lot actually, as it stabbed right through the Nomu. Taking a bit to regenerate, All Might use this time and plus alter it this time into the air. This leading to the same result as before. Kurogiri and Shigaraki run at them, and then Deku instantly just creating a wall before both of the villains. Then he slaps that same wall and then creates pillars of rock coming out of it, taking smashing right into the villains. Then Kurogiri uses his time to warp both Shigaraki and himself out of there. Then Bakugo runs right over, but Deku, seeing something happening to All Might, does quick thinking, and was told if he ever did this or ever started to smoke, to try to hide him. He did see the heroes come in right now, and this was by the time when Sniper shot him, by the way. So, Smentos was running down. Deku did hit the job for him. Before he could create his wall, he made a wall of rock right in front of Bakugo and all the students. He then unboxed All Might, and then Bakugo saying, "What the hell are you doing?" Cementos just coming over and saying, "Oh, thank you, young alchemist," and then getting his breath, and then looks over at the students and says, "Do not worry, students, this is your new protector, if you will. He is something known as a full metal alchemist, and he's one of the best. Alchemists can easily compare to the top 10 heroes, and he is supposed to be able to compare to some of the best heroes, like Endeavor or Edgeshot, or even All Might in a sense." Then they all are amazed, and then they take the Sapporo answer instead of questioning them because he thinks they can question them later. They go onto the bus, and thought that was very scary of experience. The police soon arrive and gather up all the remaining villains. Blah 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 blah. Everything happens the same until they ask Deku all the things. They thought that he was some student for a second, but then they remember what Cementos said. Everyone asking Izuku what he is, or what was his quirk. Deku saying, "You really don't know what alchemy is, do you?" With wide eyes, says he does know what quirks are, but he don't think they would outshadow alchemy. And then they were asked, "Alchemy? Is that the name of your quirk?" One of the people in Class 1A would have said. Deku then just face palming and Al explaining what alchemy is, as its equivalent exchange, as you could turn a pile of lead into a small bit of gold. Them not really understanding, Deku saying, "Anyone can do alchemy. Anyone can do alchemy, just not like them, okay? And there's also different skill sets. Also, you have to learn over lots and lots of time." And then some people ask, "Wait, so anyone can learn alchemy? Can you train us?" Then them both saying, "Definitely not," with blank stares on their face. Everyone asking why until Eraserhead comes in, and this is now just filler. We're going to skip to the sports festival after the 2 weeks of training. We're only going to do up to... I think we should only do up to the race, or the past of the race. So, Deku's not in it, so it really does not matter. Deku is just making sure nothing happens. Him getting the news about Ingenium, and him not much understanding, was actually told by a higher up to go and get the hero killer. Deku nodding and asks Ao to stay here. Ao instantly just making a transmutation circle, and he's already making a transmutation circle, then making a spear out of the ground and saying, "You're safe with me." Deku hasn't stopped thinking about what he saw that day, and that he needs to get their bodies back. Then just running off to try and find the hero killer. He could not find him, however, and that's going to be a plot point for a later date. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this collab of me, Anime Camp, and the Hacker God. So yeah, if you want us to do any more collabs, please say down below, and I'm fine. Hopefully this will be uploading onto my channel too, but we're going to prioritize getting it onto Hacker's channel first.